New year, new drivers, new team. Welcome and great to have you with us as we move far away from the paddock to the headquarters of the newest outfit on the Formula One grid. We've been granted exclusive access with an interview not just with the team owner or the star driver, but both. Because for the first time in modern F1 history, the team owner is behind the wheel themselves. Now is a great time to bring a new team into the sport, particularly off the back of such compelling competition last year. 2022 saw huge regulation changes, and it was Red Bull who came out on top in the development race. But that was last year. This year could be a very different story. Let me tell you, this facility is an absolute hive of activity, and there is a palpable sense of excitement around the car they've built. Quietly, they truly believe they can challenge at the top, and they've had the time now to craft a hugely competitive race car. But theory is one thing, and taking on the brightest lights in motorsport is quite another. So how does the owner of F1's 11th team feel as they prepare to be thrust into the limelight of the F1 circus? New driver lineups, Qatar returns, Las Vegas debuts, and the engineering race continues to push the sport and the drivers to new heights. What are they aiming for? Most excited about? Most nervous for? Well, soon we will meet them to find out. But first, let's take a look at the brand new car.
Hey guys, and welcome to F1 23. Finally getting into this game after finishing F1 21 back probably a couple of months ago now. We just showed the car for the brand new My Team Career Mode journey here on F1 23, and now we're just setting up all the My Team Career Mode settings. We've got a 16 race calendar. The 23 races just seems a bit long for me, and I don't want to do a really short season. And as you just saw there, increasing the AI resource rates and decreasing hours, increasing the event frequencies, all that sort of stuff. We're not going to be using the icons at this point in the seasons. I didn't want to focus on them like I did in the previous game. I used them for most of the time that I was playing the game, and I kind of just want to use the current driver roster. Just because it just feels more authentic, and we also get to see some, I guess, some change arounds in the other teams when people start chopping and changing and getting new contracts. So that should be interesting moving forward. We've got ourselves a sponsor. We've picked Ferrari for our engine supplier. It looks like they're the second best in terms of performance. Their durability is not the greatest, but at the early part of the game, the durability is never that great anyway, so I'm picking them for their performance. We can't afford Mercedes or Red Bull, whichever one it was more expensive. I think it was the Mercedes. In terms of second driver, we're going to go with Enzo Fittipaldi. I like his stats. I feel like he's probably, by listings, a better all-round driver than whoever was the most expensive one. We save a little bit of money too, which does allow us to have that Ferrari engine. So that is sponsor done, engine supplier picked, new driver chosen for the team. There's the car, there's the team logo, there's our spiffy little driver uniforms there, and here's a better look at the car. The matte black, I think it's matte black with the metallic purple there. Black just because, being from New Zealand, black is our national colour, and purple because why not? Purple is a great colour to add in there. So really good, really sleek looking car to start off this My Team Career Mode journey. So now we are into the nitty gritty, the facility, or I guess behind the scenes stuff, the stuff we don't get to see on race day. Starting off, there's a bit of a gap from now to the first race, as there always is. Quite a few things to pick from, but our goal for this early part of the career mode is to just build this car up as quickly as we possibly can. So focusing on resource points, focusing on trying to get as much money into our team as possible so we can build up those facilities, get those upgrades on, and really focus on trying to get as good a car as we possibly can. I focused a lot on the chassis department when I was answering all the questions in the pre-season interview. As you do in most games, you have that little as most the F1 games, you have that little pre-season interview, and your answers determine what departments get focused on. So I focused on chassis because chassis upgrades are OP. They always have been. We've got a really good engine supply, so the car's going to be quick anyway. I suppose proportionally to where it should be with that Ferrari engine. So focus on that. So we've got a lot of chassis upgrades, and we can sort of upgrade everything else around that as well. Okay, our first department event here, and we're going to focus on pace of Fittipaldi. Like, awareness is fine, but I don't see him really pushing that far up the grid, so I'm not too fussed about his awareness, but we want him to go fast. The higher up the placings he can get, the more acclaim we get, and the more acclaim we get, the quicker we can get sponsors into the team and more money we can get in as well to build up those facilities. So as you can see there, we've got ourselves right at the end there. We've got ourselves a underfloor upgrade for the chassis department. So just another chassis upgrade to add to this this car of ours before we head into the very first race weekend of the season. Practice, skipping past practice in the video, but the car felt really good in practice. I managed to get most of the I guess objectives without having to do the quick practice at the end just to clean up the last, I think it was only 3 more that I needed to get. We got most of them just on our own with the car. It felt really good. A lot of acclaim coming in as well. We're already up to acclaim level 2, which early on obviously is pretty easy because it doesn't take much acclaim to get up through the levels to start with. But now jumping into qualifying. So in practice we were pretty quick. Pre-practice 1 and 2 we were right up there with the top cars in terms of the speed track. Just getting used to the handling of the car though. You know, top speed doesn't seem to be that much of an issue for us. We can go fast in a straight line, but just tweaking the setup to get the car maneuvering on the track just right. Using some of the setups online to try and just figure out what I feel comfortable with in terms of the car setup. And I also used a difficulty calculator like I did for I guess the last 2 seasons of F1 21 to really try and get the proper difficulty for each track, because it changes from track to track. So use that for this one here. And right, first lap of Q1, not many cars have gone out. We're currently P1. Well, Sainz is now taking that away from us. But even by the end of Q1, we're P7. So our car's pretty good. I'm feeling really happy with that performance. Like, that was, I mean, I was pushing that as well. So like, I'm really happy with that. Enzo P20, to be expected. Brand new car, brand new driver. I never expect the rookie drivers to do overly well. So, you know, P20, like, at least he's not last. That's a good thing. It shows that the car has some potential. But we are pushing on into Q2 and still feeling pretty good. Handling wise, I'm still kind of getting used to getting the car around the track. I'm still missing some apexes. Trying to get a brake pressure right in this game is also a little bit different too. I was playing the last game on PS4 and this is now on PS5, so getting used to using the PS5 controller as well for throttle and brake pressure and all that sort of thing is taking a little bit of time as well. But again, we do a really good lap. We do 134.1. We're only half a tenth behind Leclerc and just under 2 tenths behind Sainz. Currently P3 in Q2. We just skip the rest because I'm really happy with that lap, and we end up in P5 at the end of Q2. So we are definitely pushing above our weight. We're right on par with Russell in that Mercedes, 134.1 as well. So really happy with this. Maybe have to tweak the difficulty a little bit in the following races, but I did use the calculator to figure out what difficulty I needed, running a whole bunch of different laps in time trial to get a good sort of idea, good average lap time. But yeah, that, as you saw, we missed that sort of tight left-hander there. It's been that was a pretty tough corner for me right through practice as well. So not too concerned about that one there. The rest of the lap's pretty tidy. I say until that last corner there, as we go wide there, but we're still looking pretty good in terms of time as we come up to the line, hit the DRS zone, cross the line in Q3, and we are P9 at 134.4, which is still pretty consistent. We did 134s the whole way through. We don't improve on our next run, so it's P9 for race day.
No more testing, no more practice. This is the real deal, and it's make or break here at round 1 of this year's Formula One World Championship. We go racing today around the 3.36 miles of the magnificent Bahrain International Circuit, with 15 corners and 2 good passing opportunities into turns 1 and 4. Keep an eye out for drivers locking the front left tyre into the tricky braking zone of turn 10. Before we begin, let's take a quick look at the grid lineup for today's race. World champion Max Verstappen starts from pole position, and it's Charles Leclerc in P2. Looking down the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Russell, Sainz, Norris, Perez, Ocon, the captain, Stroll, Fernando Alonso, Bottas, Gasly, Tsunoda, Joe, Oscar Piastri, Magnussen, Hulkenberg, Albon, Fittipaldi, Sargent, and Nick de Vries. And with lights out just moments away, it's time to go down to the track.
Okay, here we go. I know what you can do. Don't let me down.
So there is the driver lineup for the very first race of the very first season for My Team Career Mode here in F1 21. One stop on the cards, hards to mediums, as we play around with some other sort of slight changes and other setups for the tyres and stuff. Just playing around with different combinations. It looks like a 1 stop's the way to go, 2 stops too slow. We are going to go with the hard to medium setup. If we can stick with the rest of these guys up the front on these hards, then we should have a pretty good advantage at the end when we go into the mediums. A really good start for the very first race here. We managed to fly past Perez and Norris, and we jump our way up into P6 from P9, going around the outside of turn 1. We get alongside, we get past Alonso and Russell, so showing that we do have some pace in this car with this Ferrari engine. So we try to go around the outside of Sainz on those mediums. We're on cold hards. Everyone else is on cold tyres as well. Everyone trying to warm them up. Getting in behind Sainz in that slipstream. But it's pretty tough going here. All over the place at the moment. But a really good start from us as we managed to jump a few positions off the start. Pretty good start there, really. Back in F1 21 I had a lot of problems with starts. Oh, we brake way too early. And Russell tries to go up the outside. We end up cutting him off there. And it looks like Alonso ends up capitalising on that there. So he probably get around the inside of Russell. Now he's jumped ahead into P6. We're still sitting P5, but we are losing a lot of ground to the top 4 at the moment. They're starting to pull away. But if we can at least try and keep within arm's length of them once the DRS has been activated, maybe we can use that and get towed along, and that'll help us at the end of the race so we don't end up right at the back. Last thing I want us to finish last in the very first race. We'll have a pretty good first outing and really put a stamp on our place on the grid, and really show everyone that we're not just here to make up numbers. We're here to be serious contenders for championships further down the track. Alonso making quick work of us at turn 1. He got right alongside in that Aston Martin, and we just gave him the space, let him go by. Trying to go around the outside. Oh, we go a bit late on the brakes. We go straight on, and Russell ends up taking the position back from us. So lap 1 was pretty good. We managed to get some positions. Lap 2 not looking so good now, as everyone else is starting to get into some sort of rhythm. We're still having a little bit of trouble trying to, I guess, come to terms with the hard tyres. I didn't really run the hard tyres too much in practice. Perry is going right around the outside at that tight left-hander. I'm not good at that corner at all, so that is definitely going to be a massive weak point for us in this race. It already looks like everyone's just from twice around that corner now. It's already highlighted that it's a massive issue for us, and definitely a spot for other teams to capitalise on if they want to overtake us. As we've now dropped to P8, but we are keeping right behind Perez, sitting in, tucking in for that slipstream. We're going to activate our overtake here, get alongside. We might be able to go around the outside here. We can't do it. We don't have enough traction on that outside, but we do have a pretty good exit out of that corner. Using the overtake to try and get in behind Perez. DRS is now activated. We're right alongside him, heading down into turn 1. We brake a bit later, but we brake too hard, and Perez just goes around the outside in that Red Bull. But we are showing that we are worth watching at this point. Perez is now quite a bit further ahead of us. We have a big lock up there on that tight left-hander again, and Gasly ends up going in front on those soft compound tyres, which will be nice and warm now, and probably a bit harder for us to overtake him now. These hards feel pretty good now, but we obviously just don't have the pace on any of the softer compound runners. As Gasly's starting to pull away quite easily here. We've now got Norris nipping on our heels as well in that McLaren, which in the real world has proven to be quite a nimble car. Oh, we go straight on at that final corner again. Huge mistake there, and now Gasly is clear of us. We are still within DRS range, but it is now going to get a lot harder for us to keep up with him after giving him such a big, I guess, a big advantage over us. Heading down to turn 1. But so far so good. We're still in the points. So we've only done 3 laps, but we're at least still staying up the front. I'm not looking to get points. I'm not aiming for, obviously championships in the first season. But I want to maximise the amount of acclaim that we can get early on, so that we can get some extra sponsors in nice and quickly. Another big mistake there at that tight left-hander, and Norris just goes straight through. No problems there. But we do get on the inside of a bit of contact heading into the next corner. No damage to us. It doesn't look like any damage to, well, maybe not any damage to Norris, I'm not sure, but Stroll obviously capitalised on that collision there between the two of us, and now he's jumped into P10. He's down the points. Norris out of the points, but he is still keeping up with Stroll, so I can't imagine there would be any damage there for him on that McLaren. Gasly is now 3 seconds clear of us. So now those front runners, the top cars on the grid, are now starting to really get into a nice rhythm, and they're pulling away from us. Zhou ends up overtaking both Norris and Stroll there, and then him and Stroll, and he's dropped back down again. I'm not sure what happened there, but turns 1, 2, and looks like 3 as well. Those 3 really battling it out there. Stroll now dropped down behind Norris, but that fighting's helped us a lot, because now, or at least it was, a 2-second gap to Norris. He's managed to close it back to 6/10. And we're still having some issues with some of these apexes. Just no consistency really in our driving at the moment. Strategy change. We're not going to change. We're going to stick with a pit stop at lap 11, but we're too busy looking at the changes that I end up going straight on at the final corner, and Norris pounces on the opportunity and jumps right in front of us. He's got the DRS as well. We had to use some of our battery to get back right up behind him, using that slipstream to try and get him to tow us along. Heading into one more contact as we go straight on again. So braking an issue for us. The handling of the car, it does handle well, but I just haven't had enough practice with it yet to really get into a nice rhythm with it and get used to it. And braking is still an issue too. Might have to look at lowering the brake pressure so that I'm not locking up so much. But we're trying to manage it as best we can. Tyre wear is looking alright. Lap 8, well, lap 9 now, so 8 laps down, 30% on the fronts, 26% on the backs. Norris has got the DRS and he jumps straight in front of us. We let him go, give him some space. We're also giving some space to Stroll, who tried to go up the inside as well, but he can't make it work. So we're sitting P10 now. Hopefully we can just use Norris to tow us along a bit, although we do have the pace on him there, even with the DRS. More contact! It's just a big battle between myself and Norris. To be fair, a lot of the contact is being caused because of my driving, not his. But there have been a couple of times where he's turned in on us, and we haven't, you know, run straight on. So it's two ways. You know, it's mine for the most part, but it is two ways in this. Another lock up there heading into that tight left-hander. Norris comes alongside. We're going to activate the overtake to try and stay ahead of him. And it is pretty rough going for us at the moment, but we're holding our own. Max way up in front. I don't know what's up with that. I don't know if it's really foggy, or if it's just smoke, or if it's just the game. I know there are issues with some of these F1 games in terms of the graphics and stuff. But it looks like some of the front runners are coming in. It looks like Verstappen came in, Hamilton's in. A lot of the teams now starting to make their pit stops heading on to, looks like medium compound tyres. Russell and the other Mercedes staying out on his hards. And he is now our current race leader. And it looks like he's now heading to the pits this lap. Yuki Tsunoda is out of the Grand Prix. He's just parked up on that second DRS zone. I don't have a replay of that one, I don't think. But it looks like just an engine issue for him. So disappointing for the AlphaTauri driver, having an engine failure on the first race of the season. But we're starting to really hit our stride now. I'm still feeling pretty comfortable on these hards. We're P5 at the moment. I'm trying to stay ahead of Perez, who is just using, oh, a big lockup from us there. Perez almost runs into the back of us. I was trying to keep him behind and try and back up the rest of the grid a little bit. And also because I felt like I could do an extra lap. We should have come in before we started this lap to go into mediums, but I had some clear air, a lot of the other cars coming in, and so I kind of wanted to use that clear air to see if I could maybe get one really good lap in before we go on to the mediums. But Perez is all over us, and we're all over the place, and he's a little bit of indecision there, but he ends up just overtaking us heading into the final corner. And we managed to hold him behind a little bit, but I don't think that really helped us out that much, to be fair. I think that's only hurt our chances a little bit, but now we've got DRS on him, and I'm staying out for another lap. The tyre wear up to 50% on these hards, so if we'd gone in at the end of lap 11, I feel like we would have been pushing it at the end on the medium. So we're staying out another lap so that we don't have too much tyre wear on the mediums at the end. Because I feel like that would probably hurt us even more, and we'd lose even more time in the last couple of laps. And now that Perez is in front and we're managing to stay within DRS range, we can use him to try and tow us along so that we don't lose too much time, and we have a better run in our second stint at the end of the race. So we're currently P6. Alonso is right behind us. By the end of the lap, Perez is gone. He's now 3 seconds ahead, so it really didn't work out for us there. We're going to come in now. We're still hitting green sectors. Sector 1 and Sector 2 are still green for us. So we were improving. We still were relatively consistent towards the end there. We are going to go on to mediums now. Really good pit stop. 2.5 second pit stop. We've got a little bit of damage on the front left of our front wing. It's not enough for it to really have too much of an effect on the performance of the car, so I'm not too fussed about it. But we do come out P18, so not a bad position to come out in. especially now that we're on mediums, and I think most of the other back markers and midfield cars are on hards now. I think they all started on mediums and softs. I think it was just the front runners that started on the hards. So we do now have a good tyre advantage over everyone else. Oscar Piastri is now out of the session. He's pulled off to the side of the track there. Engine failure for him as well by the looks of things. So we did, it's a little bit disappointing because we did have a pretty good run coming out of the first 2 corners. And we would have had DRS and we could have made a good run on the guys in front of us here. Oh, we're too busy looking at the at our MFD. We almost run. We could have run into the back of Hulkenberg there. We go off the track. We take the track limits warning there, but it is only lap 15. We've got 5.5 laps left in this race, so nothing to stress about. We don't need to push too much yet. We can just tuck in behind these guys and slowly pick them off before the checkered flag. But yeah, taking that track limits warning, losing a bit of time there, definitely better than taking some damage and having to potentially go in for another pit stop. We are right alongside Hulkenberg, who also has the Ferrari engine in that Haas, and you can see there, even on the hards, he was really pushing alongside us there. He may have been activating his battery a little bit to stay ahead, but we do end up getting back in front of him. P16 now, after overtaking Hulkenberg and after the retirement of Piastri on the previous lap. It looks like he's now been moved away from there, so now we can have a proper run on the DRS here. But we don't manage to make much of a gain there. Still tucked in right behind Stroll. We are slowly gaining on him, but we didn't have a good exit out of turn 3 to get a good run on him. We get up along the inside of him there. He gets a little bit spooked, gives us the space, but he's got the speed heading back. We do have a little bit of contact there with him on that hairpin there, turn 7 I think that is. Luckily no real damage to the car there, so we're still in good nick. We do manage to stay ahead of Stroll after getting ahead of him there. End of lap 16 now. We're right behind Zhou and Magnussen, and then it's a bit of a gap between him and the next few cars. Gap starting to form right, well, not starting to, but have formed between a lot of the cars. Zhou using that DRS to get ahead of Magnussen before turn 1. We're going to be late on the brakes. We're going to get right alongside Magnussen. Almost some contact there. Oh, a little bit of a slide coming out of turn 1. But we managed to make the move stick. And we're going to have DRS on Zhou for the next one too. Can we make a move here up the first DRS straight? We do manage to get ahead before the apex. And we kind of squeeze him out a little bit. And there's 2 overtakes in the first sector. And now we are sitting in P13. Really good spot for us now. But it's going to be a bit of a battle to try and catch up to Albon. He's 2.5 seconds ahead of us on the mediums. We've only got 3 laps left. So it's entirely possible. We have managed to claw back a lot of time on the drivers behind us. But it has been well documented so far in the current season of Formula 1. In the real world, not in the game obviously. That Williams is pretty quick, and Albon is definitely a driver to watch. He's definitely a force to be reckoned with. But we are going to try. We have managed to claw back a few tenths already. Now 1.8 seconds behind him. We were 2.3 at the beginning of the lap. We've now managed to get 6, coming up to 7 tenths on him now in 1 lap. But we do have 2 laps left. We go wide at the final corner again. That is a regular occurrence in this race so far. We're not in DRS range. If we can get into DRS range at the end of this lap, then maybe we'll have a chance at catching up to him. We do go straight on again a little bit, missing the apex there at turn 1, which would have been a really good spot for us to gain quite a lot of time there and maybe even get into the DRS of him there. But just doesn't quite work out for us there. Just not consistent enough this race to really be able to put some pressure on the midfield runners a whole lot. I guess our saving grace so far has been the fact that we managed to get into Q3. We started off really well. We managed to keep everyone behind us for a bit, and then sort of ride along in the slipstream and the DRS of some of the quick teams to stay ahead. We've almost managed to get into DRS range at the end of this lap, but it's just not enough. We're going to have to really do well up here at turn 1 and try and get into the DRS range in the next corner. We hit the apex pretty well there. Not a whole lot of traction coming out of turn 1, and we don't manage to get DRS here either. Battery's pretty much depleted, so we're really going to have to just try and get ahead of him based on our own merits, not using the battery. But the AI in F121 tended to utilize all of their battery on the last lap, so it's going to be pretty tough for us. But as per the status quo right now, Max Verstappen crosses the line to win the very first race of the season. Lewis Hamilton in the Mercedes crosses P2, and I do believe that's Charles Leclerc in the Ferrari for P3. As we're coming around the final corner, we haven't managed to catch up to Albon, but well fought race there for us as we cross the line for the very first race. P13 for Cross GT Racing.
Alright, race over. Take care of the car on the way in.
Really great performance for us there today. Albon getting driver of the day, but we really showed our stuff out there today.
Smiling faces on the pit wall then after that superb win here at Sakhir. And rightly so, a brilliant effort from the whole team. Well, Anthony Davidson, a resounding victory today, but what set them apart from the rest?
I feel like consistency was probably the key today. There's being quick, and then there's being quick lap after lap after lap. If you can do that, you can capitalise on other people's errors without making many of your own. And that's an approach that can push you a long way up the field.
Red Bull are our winners today after showcasing some incredible driving. There's been a huge push from them lately to stay competitive with the other teams, and they're certainly proving themselves.
I don't think you can really say that they're fighting to be more competitive or to stay competitive, considering last season they dominated, and this season in real life they're also dominating, and their driver just won the very first race of the season by what, like 4/10? Like, that's not a small margin for racing. But you know, it's a game, they have a bunch of preset things that they say, so we'll let it slide this time. But you know, Max Verstappen, he's a force to be reckoned with in the game and in real life as well. But we're not here to talk about him or the fact that Lewis Hamilton got P2, which is, you know, pretty high up there considering his run, his luck as of late. We're here to talk about the fact that we got P13 in our very first race. A really good result for us. P9 in the Constructors, so we're ahead of Haas and AlphaTauri at this point. No points, but just on finishing position, we are, you know, we're a bit further ahead than you would expect us to be at the start of career mode. But I think it comes down to the fact that we focused on chassis, and we've also got a Ferrari engine in the car. You know, Ferrari's got a massive legacy, so really good to have them on board with the team. Plenty of acclaim, a bit of money coming in as well, so that should help us out quite a bit moving forward. We really want to get some more sponsors into the team as soon as possible, get that money rolling in so we can upgrade the facilities early. Last thing we want is to run through all of our upgrades and then not have the facilities upgraded to get those upgrades on the car, and just be sort of stuck in terms of development, not being able to go anywhere. But what I really want actually is to upgrade the marketing department. In the last game I didn't really do that, and I feel like if we do that early on now and boost the acclaim rate, we can get those sponsors on quicker, and then the money will roll in and we'll be more competitive early in the career mode. You know, but that's all looking way into the future. We're just going to focus on the fact that we had a really good first outing as a team, and we can use this as a foundation moving forward to maybe get some better results or some more consistent results for the first season, and try and build this car up as much as we can early on. But yeah, just really good morale boost for the team, knowing that we are, you know, we're here to compete. We're not just here to participate and be, you know, a part of the grid. We are a force to be reckoned with at this point. But that brings us to the end of this episode, the very first episode of the F1 23 My Team Career Mode journey for Cross GT Racing. If you enjoyed the video, do leave a like. Let me know in the comments what you thought. Thanks for watching, guys, and I hope to see you guys all in the next one.